AJ, I have a serious question for you.
Uh-oh.
Yeah. So you ever brewed a pot of coffee and you weren't patient enough to wait for the pot to be done brewing, right? And so like you just pour the first, you got a quarter pot of coffee that's ready to go, and so you pour a cup from that. How much stronger do you think that is than waiting for the entire pot to be done?
Well, first of all, what kind of monster waits for the entire pot to be done? Because I don't ever do that.
Here I was thinking,
what's wrong with people?
Here I was thinking, I was like too impatient for just like I can't wait an extra 10 minutes for this entire pot to be done. So
no, I pour because I make like 10 cups at a time or something, like the full thing. Like I fill that up.
Yeah, of course.
I always pour it like as soon as I have enough to fill a cup.
All right, so what's your prediction then? Like how much stronger do you think that first cup is then? Because you're like diluting the grounds, right? After that initial drip, right? It's like just kind of coffee colored water for the last half of the pot. I think that'd be my guess.
Yeah, I don't know, but I have no idea, man. Do you think that actually dilutes it the more that it pours? Do you think it makes it? I can't. It's hard for me to tell because I put like 3 scoops of coffee into it, so it's probably pretty freaking strong for me, which I need it though.
Like 3 of the grounds. You put 3 scoops of the grounds, bro. I've never brewed a pot with less than 5 heaping scoops. What?
Okay.
I don't know. So all the new people that are watching, Happy New Year and way to get a PSVR2 headset. I swear we talk about PSVR2 during the show. I swear.
We do. But also coffee and how amazing coffee is.
All right. Well, I mean, I'm going to change the headline then. But let's also start the show. You ready to go?
Pizza. I mean, yes.
Zah. Man, every single freaking show, my co-host is always a blue box. I swear.
Let me out of here.
No,
help me. Help me.
Sorry. There he is. This is PSVR GameScast Live. We film live every single Monday, Wednesday, and 2 Eyes Friday right here on YouTube. We do it live, 6 p.m. Eastern for your viewing pleasure. We're a little late today. Bro, so many audio issues, like on my end and AJ's end. Like, so the fact that this show is even up and running right now, mind-boggling.
I didn't change. I didn't even turn off my computer from Friday. So what the hell? I don't know. I don't know why anything changed. All my settings were messed up. Ugh.
Yeah. So like,
and
listen,
some of them want you to get into PC gaming, Brian. Can you believe it? I listened to your guys. Listened to most of your episode from Wednesday with Wes. I need to finish it, but I was really enjoying it. It was a really good episode.
I have no idea what we talked about on Wednesday. That was so long ago. There's no way I could possibly remember that. But yeah, dude, people have been trying to get me to, when Quest came out, everyone was like, you need to cover Quest games. And I was like, no, I'm not really interested. And then PCVR really started taking off, and like, especially with the modding and everything in UEVR, you need to cover that. And I'm like, I don't know, man, I'm not really interested. It's like, I can't review every PSVR2 game that comes out, right? I'm at my wit's end when we're in a busy season. I can't imagine being like a channel like Virtual Strangers where you try to cover everything, right? We have to say goodbye to reviews completely, right? Because there just wouldn't be time for that. Wouldn't be time to play games and actually review them. We'd have to podcast everything, which actually would be kind of fun.
That's the only way you can get away with it. Because doing the video editing stuff takes so long.
Yeah.
Like I've spent like 20 hours on a video and it gets like 3,000 views. And I'm just like, I could have just live streamed this in 2 hours and it would have gotten more views.
Work smarter, not harder.
Yep.
Hey, Jay.
Hey, Brain.
How was your weekend? Inquiring minds want to know.
What? It was good. I I got fondue on Friday. Went out and had fondue, and it was really, really good. Do you know what fondue is?
Yeah, you dip shit in cheese. I said dip
Yeah.
shit.
You dip shit in cheese, and then you dip it in oil, and then you dip it in chocolate. It was really good, but it was also really expensive. The price has basically doubled from what it used to be. But it's one of those, like, you got to do it once in your life at least. You gotta once in your lifetime try it. The other thing that you need to make part of your everyday life, or every time you take a shit, is get a bidet. I installed a bidet, and it is awesome. I've been wanting one for so many years, and I just kept forgetting. But yeah, everyone out there, get spent $40. I paid like $40 for a bidet. I remember like Dustin Furman talking about it a lot on Sacred Symbols. I haven't listened to them in a minute, but I love Sacred Symbols podcast. But I've heard for so many years people telling me the greatness of a bidet.
Yep.
And I finally got one and installed it, and it's good. It's very nice. Forever clean.
Tell me more about your butthole, AJ.
Dude, it's at first it could be really cold, and it might have a little bit of like a numbing effect. But you get used to it. All I'm saying is everyone should have a clean butt. You know, there's nothing wrong with that. Everybody should have a clean butt. That's all.
Sure.
And then I played some Gran Turismo 7.
I'm more than happy to move on from this conversation. I don't need I don't need to contribute to this. Go ahead.
And then I played Gran Turismo 7 because I am hopelessly addicted to it, and it's so great. I already did the weekly challenges in like a day, in like an hour, because they're actually really easy right now. Nice. And then Gran Turismo has like this like learn more about every car. So I read about like the entire history of like, not the entire history. I read about like, a bunch of history of a lot of the cars in there. And they had a Dunlop tires, and I read the entire history of Dunlop tires in VR and Gran Turismo. And it was interesting.
Gamecat sent 10 without parole gift memberships. Thank you so much, Gamecat. We appreciate you very much. Turning the chat green. Speaking of anything else, I think we need to do a viewer takeover question, AJ.
Yeah, I think it's time.
What is happening? Why do we have such a bad connection? Your audio is not syncing with your video, and then you every so often you hear that the cutout sounds. Well, you know what? Hold on. Why don't you? I'm going to go back to the hold screen. Why don't you disconnect and reconnect?
Okay.
Give it a shot. We'll see what happens. You know what? I'm going to call him back. There we go. Let's try this again. All right.
Okay.
Let's see if that's any better.
I know the power company replaced my power today, so that may have something to do with it.
You seem like you're not lagging anymore, which is nice.
Okay. Maybe it's just Discord being Discord as usual.
Yeah, Discord's a mess. Yeah. I mean, like, it could be Discord, it could be OBS, it could be either one of our internet connections. Like, there's so many ways that the show can go wrong, and we find out a way for that to happen all the time. Viewer takeover time. You guys know that you can leave viewer takeover questions by going over to our Discord. Click the link in the description below. You should already be there, because that's where like the central hub of operations are for the Gamecat Ops. But if you're not there already, here's a good reason to do it. Go to the viewer takeover channel, leave your questions there, and then maybe we'll talk about your question. And maybe give you possibly an answer. That would be crazy. Right here in the show. Just like Killa Sam did. Killa Sam writes, #viewer takeover. Is there a chance of Flat to VR taking over Firewall Ultra development in order to make new maps and improve the game? I would suggest making a force start for public lobbies, and remove eye tracking grenade throwing. Big fan of both of those. You might also make it flat screen so there's a bigger player base. I think it needs a second chance. What do you think, AJ? I already left a my initial thoughts, my initial response in the viewer takeover channel. So let's kick it off with what you think.
Okay, so yes and no. Flat to VR is not going to take Firewall Ultra and do anything with it. Flat to VR has one mission, and they talked about this on Wednesday too, because somebody else asked a question about, will they make VR games into flat games? Will they make their own games? Yeah. And it's like, no, they're literally just like a team of like elite modders that go in and take flat games and make them and VRify them. And I think they need to stick to that mission. I think that's the right goal for them to do, for it to have. And I think that's what's going to make them the most successful. On the flip side of that, man, I would love for anybody to pick up Firewall and fix it. And like, it's such a, to go from like possibly the best, like one of the greatest VR games of all time in Firewall 0 Hour to like such a disaster and a flop, and like just everything went wrong, from bad design choices to messy launch to, bad community support. Everything went wrong with Firewall Ultra, and it definitely did some damage to our ecosystem because of it. So I do think Firewall should get a second chance from somebody. I don't think that's going to happen, but it's not going to be flat to VR.
Yeah, I don't know. I have a lot of thoughts on this, I guess. I think a lot of the damage has been done already. I think that a lot of people look at Firewall Ultra. Whether you could be out there playing this game right now and being like, it's great. I don't understand like what, but it had a bad launch. I think the damage has been done, and I think it would actually be harder for Flat to VR to take this game over and restore its reputation and to fix its reputation, rather than just like getting a game like Ready or Not. Getting an IP that has a good reputation on the PSVR2. I think it would actually be harder to save this game's reputation, right? Whether it's deserved or not, that's not the point. The point is that people have already decided that it's not good. I was talking to Izzard before the show, and he said he had dropped in after he got his Pro, and he said he found a game right away. So that's good that there's people still playing it. He said, but also the reprojection was like some of the worst he's ever seen, right? And so like,
it's bad.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff going on. I do remember the reprojection being rough, and in a game like this where you really need the visuals to be on point, to spot enemies from a distance. You don't need this ghosting everywhere, distracting you from that. So
Unreal Engine 5 has issues with reprojection, as we've seen a couple of times. It gets a little bit worse, like Mura effect. I think Awakening also uses Unreal Engine 5. And Unreal Engine 5, I've just noticed those games, maybe it just needs more time to develop or be optimized. Maybe it was, this gen of VR kicked off kind of around the same time as Unreal Engine 5, right? Like,
no idea. Or
maybe it was like a couple years. Like, so when a lot of these developers were developing for UE5, it just seems like reprojection has issues. Some games, I mean, Wanderer, for all the issues that it had, visually was like perfect. It didn't have any visual issues, and that uses Unreal Engine 5. So it's not everything, but
Wanderer is also a game that gave us the option to play with 90 frames native, right? It just ran at 90 frames native, right? It didn't even give us the option, right?
Yeah, so it wasn't. Yeah.
And some of those maps look beautiful, right? So I kind of look at that and go, well, listen, if Wanderer can make these beautiful, levels and areas and make it run at 90 frames native, I think Wanderer looks better than Firewall does. And so I kind of look at some of these developers and go, there's no excuse to be using reprojection in these games. But also, I think the bigger thing here is that if Flat to VR got their foot in the door with Sony, like, is this really the game that they should be requesting? Right? I don't think so. I think, hey, let us bring Astrobot to VR, right? Let us port some of your PSVR1 games over to PSVR2, right? They've got a lot of people who are really adept at these types of ports. People who brought Shadowgate over from Quest and PC over to PlayStation VR2, example like that. So I don't know if this is the game they should be trying to get their hands on, but it would be nice if Ultra get a second chance. I just don't know. I just don't think Platts VR is the team for it.
Yeah, I don't think we still, the reason is we don't have that kind of forever first person shooter game. I mean, Pavlov has by far been the most successful, had a great launch, was really good. But that game, you can't replay that game forever. It doesn't have like the biggest amount of depth. Like Firewall, that's what made Firewall great. I had like 400, I wasn't even a multiplayer person. And like I had like 400 hours in that game. My friends list went from like 15 people to like 500. And that game was really, really special. Hell, people still play the not the flat game, the PSVR1 game over Ultra. Like you have an easier time finding matchmaking in there. Which is just a testament to how good and timeless that game was. And yeah, every ecosystem, Quest platform has a lot of these like first person shooters that have long legs that really keep the platform like healthy and alive in many ways. And yeah, PSVR2 could really use something like that because there's just a lot of FPS fans out there, like competitive FPS fans.
Peter of Cats Must Be New. He says, "Can we talk about the subject of this the stream?" We'll get there, man. If you got to take a piss or something, we'll put timestamps in after the fact. Don't worry. We'll make it nice and easy for you to find what you're looking for when the stream is over. But this is a very much a conversational podcast, and we're going to talk about everything that comes up. So if you're all like, "I need to get to the point," we don't get to the point for a while. So just a heads up. We got Scallywag Gaming with the level 1 membership, says just completed Rez and Tetris. Fantastic games. Hell yeah. Now Play Luminous. Go play Luminous now. Yeah.
You've already done the other two. Dude, Rez, tell me, did you do Rez please tell me you did Rez Infinite with the eye tracking, because that is such a great experience. Everybody with the PSVR2 needs to try that.
Yeah.
And some headphones. Absolutely. And wear headphones.
These games are beautiful, man. Like this, man, I've been playing Rez. I missed it on Dreamcast. I played it on PS2, PlayStation 2. Not even, right? It's craziness. Like, I've been playing this game for 20 something years, and this is the best way to play it. VR made it so much better on PSVR1, but then on top of that, with the headset rumble and the eye tracking, somehow this is finally the ultimate way to play Rez Infinite. It is just so incredible, and you feel like you're fucking tripping the entire time. It's crazy. Yeah,
and then Tetris Effect is just such a spiritual experience, dude. I can't wait to get back to Lumines. I was really, really enjoying that, but I've only cleared like the first section of that game. Oh, wow. Honestly, yeah. So like, I have a lot more to play of that. I have a lot of catching up to do on some of the Q4 releases that I'm like so excited about.
Cool. Yeah. I mean, listen, I want to get back in and just play more Luminous just for the experience of it. But really what I'm waiting for is that one multiplayer mode that you and I played quite a bit of. It's just okay, right? It's just like 1v1 and it's like best 2 out of 3 or something like that. And it's like, it's just not enough. It's just not enough. Tetris Effect has such great multiplayer modes, which in all fairness came after launch. Right, it took them 2 years, I think, to get the Connected update out there with all the multiplayer modes. So it's nice we got a multiplayer mode to start off, but it's going to be so much more fun once we have many multiplayer modes. So, good stuff though. Good stuff. So many great games that get overlooked by our community, by us sometimes, right? I mean, I did that top 50 list, and the number of people were like, "Where's this game? Where's that game? Where's that game?" And I was like, "Oh, that game is in there. It's number 37." And they were like, "Oh, sorry, I missed it." But there were a lot of games that didn't make the cut for whatever reason, and like, it's just, man, we've got so many great games to play. Yo, Gamecat with the Australian $50. Whoa, wah wah wah. Was that a car horn that you did? I think AJ's frozen.
You were frozen. You were frozen during wah wah wah.
Oh no! I wonder what they saw.
I probably need to reset my router, so I don't know. Like I said, they just redid my power, so I hope they didn't mess up my cabling or something.
Let's hope not. Gamecat with the Australian $50 says, Struth Cobber, been playing Trenches. they stripped out the microphone picking up your voice that's on Quest in the PC versions. How do you feel about elements? Hold on, I gotta move this so I can read it. Elements being removed for PSVR2. I was excited for that feature as I loved it in Alien Isolation. Yeah, I am definitely confused about why it wouldn't be in Trenches, right? As a single player game. I remember when Phasmo launched and they didn't have any of the voice support stuff.
Yeah.
It's like, well, that's weird, but also I get it because you need the voice interactions, or not the voice interactions. Like you play that game a lot in multiplayer, so you just need like the microphone in the PSVR2 working so that the other players can hear you, right? And so I guess I understood at that point why there was some kind of issue with that. But Trenches is single player. There shouldn't be any problem using the microphone on that. I personally don't care. I think Trenches scary enough as it is. I usually turn off the voice stuff because, if anybody knocks on my door or if the phone rings or whatever, it's just kind of irritating when something in the background happens to trigger an enemy and you're like, meh.
It's a cool feature to experiment with, but it's not one that I pretty much ever use, or I definitely don't have to have it. Saints and Sinners comes to mind, and I just it's like a fun little gimmicky feature, but it's not like something that is like essential to the gameplay, I feel. Because if you're like playing a game by yourself, and it's like, I don't know, why would you be talking? And then if you're like streaming, it's like you're constantly talking. Like, I just don't see where it really works. I think I like the idea of the in-game mechanics of like having to walk slow on the boards, or something. Like, got to be quiet, and so you got the whistle and using that mechanic. Like, I like the in-game stuff a little bit more. Doesn't bother me. Is anybody really on the Quest like? Well, I mean, I guess, he said he really likes it. So, but yeah, I don't know. Everybody complained about the mic feature in Phobia, but like, does anybody?
Yes, they do.
Like, when they do?
Yeah, they love
like,
it.
does anybody like really care? Okay. So yeah, it's important to a lot of people. Okay.
And that's going to be the case for like every feature in every game, right? Is that for everyone? I was complaining about there not being a crouch button in Trenches, and like so many people are like, I don't want to push a button, right? And so it's like, well, fine, don't push the button, right? But there are people who need a button to crouch. So like so the last thing I want to do is tell somebody, oh, the thing that you want in a game isn't important, right? So for all the people who want that voice recognition, I think it would be a great feature to get in there. But for me personally, when I was playing this, at least during the time that I've been playing this, I didn't see that it would make any difference for me personally. In fact, they give you a whistle, right? They give you a whistle in the game, which already attracts the enemy, right? And so it's like part of the gameplay design already. Is that there's something that you kind of need to use in order to find your next destination. And so it's like, and that also attracts the enemy. So I don't need something extra that's gonna put the enemy on my scent even more. So, but I get it. I totally get it. All right, AJ, we need to talk about some Blade and Sorcery, and this comes to us directly from our friend Jammy Hero. So thank you, Jammy. Jamie's a good friend of the show. Really thrilled that he got some information on this on Blade and Sorcery directly from the Baron, the developers of Blade and Sorcery. Starting with, I'm just going to read through it. Hey, Baron from Blade and Sorcery here. Just passing by, but wanted to pop in and say thanks for posting a very accurate and verified investigation into PSVR2. So anyone reading, I can confirm Jamie Hero is spot on and did his homework here. Any PSVR2 fans, I feel your pain in the wait, and I'm going to keep poking Cosby on the port. One thing I am not sure I mentioned in the Reddit post is that a big prerequisite of the port involving us switching to Unity 6, which we are actually going to do and are planning to do, but we're dragging our feet because it is a mega pain. Players will not be able to see any difference, but we need to do it for our own internal maintenance reasons, so it must be done. However, when we were testing Unity 6, we saw it was breaking a ton of things in the game So a huge pain there. It will require a big QA effort on our side. But as I say, we got to do it eventually. So it will happen. Anyway, when that happens, that will be a big key prerequisite to proceeding with the PSVR2 port. So that at least is one good thing that can come out of a Unity 6 switch. This sounds all like very promising so far, and like very much like, oh, we're just waiting for them to switch it over and do a lot of, dealing with a lot of bugs that will come with the switch. And then follows it up with, oh, and by the way, one nice thing about the hypothetical PSVR2 port, which like totally puts I just feel like stabs the entire argument in the back. It's like, wait a minute, so it might not be coming? Is that it would be the entire Blade and Sorcery game. Would also include all 4 of the updates, proving to be a lot more than we set out to do, which is cool because the release would be the full game plus 4 major updates. I mean, this is all fantastic news, and I do actually really respect the way that they phrased all of this, being super transparent about what's happening, about the reason the port hasn't started yet, about the things that they need to do in order for the port to begin, but then also being like, listen, guys, we're still not promising anything, right? We are in an industry where there's so many promises being made and not being delivered on that you got to respect the honesty here.
Yeah, for sure. And we know from several developers in the past that upgrading the engine is possibly one of the toughest things, like kind of one of the biggest causes for some of the largest delays we've seen. That's a tough one. That would certainly add up to why it's taking so long, because the game's been, done. They've been in 1.0 for at least like a year or two now. But yeah, that we've seen it with like Housekeeping, like they had to update their engine first. We've seen it with multiple developers actually, and that takes a very long time. This is one of those games that, like, whenever it comes out, because I believe it will eventually. And this is one of those games where once it comes out, I feel like it will always be in the top 5 most downloaded list, like all the time. It'll be, you'll have Beat Saber, you'll have Job Simulator, and you'll have Blade and Sorcery.
Yeah.
And I feel like they'll always be there.
I think you're spot on. And the thing is like, I don't know, man, for people like me who remember when Blade and Sorcery was just like a pretty basic arena fighter, right? Where it seemed like swordsmen, like, Sin Studio was like, oh, well, if, you're not going to bring Blade and Sorcery over to PlayStation VR, then we'll take a stab at it. And it was like, fine, right? Swordsman was like, hey, this is a pretty good substitution. But I feel like Blade and Sorcery has evolved so much more and so much faster than Swordsman has over the last few years. And that, like, there's an actual campaign going on here with a lot more variety in the environments and a lot more use of the environments as well, like being able to actually climb and use some of the verticality that it offers you. This is like, it just seems like a much more full fleshed out game, to the point where like I've lost track of all the updates that have happened, right? So when it finally gets to us, I think I'm going to be really surprised by all the content that it has, because I'm kind of in the dark at this point, right? I have not been keeping an eye on this since it was like literally kind of just like a game like Swordsman and Arena Fighter.
Yeah, that's going to be super important that it has all this content as well, because I don't think it's going to be shipping on PlayStation with mods. We've seen that time and time again, where you can basically get everything except for mods in, and that, which is unfortunate, because that is a big part of Blade and Sorcery's popularity. Are the mods. But I still think people would still like, it would be very successful on PSVR2 anyways. I think it's a similar audience, especially all, like I said, you got all these people buying Beat Saber, Job Simulator. You're damn right Sorcery's going to be in there too. And I hear people talking about Blade and Sword. It's basically this generation's Gorn, of just like people just asking for it nonstop, are really excited about it.
I hear what you're saying. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, this is anytime we ask people like, what games do you want to see on PSVR2? Blade and Sorcery is always there front and center.
It's not a game that I'm like, it's not a game that like I'm personally like, super excited about, but I know how important it is to a lot of people out there. So I could, respect the game. a bunch, but yeah, it's not one that is personally really for me, I don't think. But I guess I'll find out once it eventually comes.
Yeah, I'm, like I said, I do respect the fact that these guys are being as transparent as possible and not promising things that they can't promise yet. But I do expect to see this on PSVR2 sooner rather than later. It sounds like they know that this transition over to Unity 6 is important for them, right? It sounds like they need to do this to even issue updates on the other versions. So the one thing about mods, though, I will say, AJ, is that we've seen other developers find a way to bring mods to PlayStation.
They've promised it way more than they've actually delivered. There's only one developer that has like kind of brought mods, and that was Cube. Yeah. Other than that, Pavlov promised it, couldn't make it, and there was, I don't remember who else said, yeah, we plan on bringing it. That they always say that until they go through the process of trying to get it done, and then they have to drop it. It's happened time and time again.
Yeah, I just, I wonder, I think these guys understand how important mods are to their game. And so I would almost feel like they would just have to curate and bring them over like themselves, and be like, hey, this is stuff that's, working on other platforms, and here you go. We brought it to you ourselves. And so I could see it happening in sort of a roundabout way, but not in the way that you'd see it, work natively on PC.
Yeah, my guess is that it would require you being able to access like some of the stuff on the PlayStation side, and PlayStation's not going to have that. They're not going to let you get into their stuff and mess with their coding stuff. They're very strict about this kind of thing. And it's usually for security purposes, which makes sense. But on the PC side, it's the developer's decision to say like, hey, you can go at the code at this, but when it's integrated into PlayStation stuff, then that could lead to potential like security exploits. That could lead to some disasters, which is probably, I'm just kind of guessing here, but I think that's why they don't do it very often.
Darth Vader with the $10 tip says, this would be my number one most hyped game if it came out this year at some point. I love magic and sword fighting in games. The sorcery part looks incredible. I don't need mods to have fun. Well.
It has been a long time since I've like really gotten into one of these types of games. I had a lot of fun with Swordsman, obviously, and and so like while it's not like on my like most hyped list, there is a part of me that's like, man, if this does deliver like that satisfying combat and everything. And imagine with the haptics, adaptive triggers, everything, headset rumble, be haptics fest, like it could be a really, really fun time that I could see myself really getting into. Didn't they add kind of like a campaign to it too or something?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that's that was the big surprising thing to me over the last couple of years, where I was like, I don't know, man, I'm kind of over this genre completely. And then people explaining to me like what's been added, I was like, oh, well, no, this sounds like something I would totally be into.
Yeah, that's a game changer right there. Like going from just an arena combat game to and like kind of adding a little bit of adventure style.
I think Chrome Colossus in the chat makes a very good point. It says Blade and Sorcery will never live up to my expectations because I'm not as funny as the streamers I've watched playing it. And I honestly do think that the games like Blade and Sorcery do develop such a good reputation because of the audience that these streamers have. Right. And they play games like this and they act really funny and they overreact to everything that's happening. And and they make the game seem really exciting. Right. Yep. And I think there are so many games like that have benefited from just streamers being really good at streaming,
Yep. And then you jump in and you're just like block, parry, block, parry. Right. You're like, this is not as cool as it seemed.
Right. How come I'm not making funny voices too?
Yeah. Chrome to the Dome Colossus also has another great point and says, release the Kraken.
Or don't. Or just don't.
Always release the Kraken.
God, I hope they have better voice actors than Swordsman did.
Yeah, they really need that guy from D-Day.
The enemies are capturing our control point. The enemies are capturing our control point. No, they're not, Brian. Why are you yelling that? You know how many games I joined of D-Day and just yelled, "The enemies are capturing our control point," and just confused the fuck out of people?
Oh my God, that's so great.
Yep.
That's so good.
Ian's about with the £5. What's up, Ian? Says, we need to use Gamecat Ops to get some Steam hybrids. Split us from the Quest, and hybrids are high end normally. It's the best way to grow PSVR2. I mean, listen, it's yes, I agree. I think that will be part of the Gamecat Ops mission. I don't think won't be like the thing, right? As much as I want to, get games we want on PSVR2, I don't want to abandon, things like Deadly Delivery because we're like, well, that's a Quest game, right? That's a game that can run on Quest. We need to separate ourselves from that. It's like I'm not, I don't care enough about that. I just want to get games. I want to get the message to developers that the gamers over here on PSVR2 want their games, right? And that's why we got to like kind of pick and choose the games that we're doing. But on that topic, I thought it was really great to go over to here. I'm going to bring this up real quick, AJ. If you go over to Blue Sky, I know a lot of people for social media have Twitter, but on Blue Sky, there's way less users over there, guys. Right? Obviously, it's a newer service, and the adoption rate hasn't been that super high. But what Capcom is doing in the Resident Evil profile is doing, they're just posting the same shit on Blue Sky as they are on Twitter. And so, with fewer people over on Blue Sky, it's easier to cut through the noise and make our voices heard. Right? And so here, I'm gonna put this in the chat. If anybody has a Blue Sky account or doesn't mind making a Blue Sky account, this is, I think this would be a great way to get our voices heard, and people have already done it, right? And so this is, here, let me see here. So this is from January 2nd, this post. It says, less than 2 months away, thanks for over 4 million wish list for Resident Evil Requiem. And so I just said 3 hours ago, hoping to hear about a PSVR2 version during the next showcase. Requiem could be the best VR game of the year. Already 10 people liked it. And then linking this on a post that I made on Without Parole, we've already got all these other people. Oh shit, no, I take it back. Wellmaster did this 3 days ago. So this had nothing to do with me. But his comment is, please add PSVR2 support, blah, 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 blah. Right? And then 2 hours ago, I loved Village on PSVR2 and would buy Requiem day one if it got here. I got to like all these. Oh, I can't like it on stream because I'm not signed in, but I will like all of these after the stream. I love Village on PSVR2, hoping we get a VR version. Capcom, your versions of RE7, 4, and Remake Village are the best VR games I've ever played. I mean, this is just, it's all PSVR2 love over on Blue Sky, right? Like this is all I'm seeing. Look, it's just one after another, except for the very last one. Every comment on this, right? And so I think this might be a good way to get our voices heard a little bit more. It just cut through that noise that Twitter has because there's so many users, right? Just another avenue we need to explore. I say we give it a shot.
Yeah, it's a clever idea.
Also,
then we go after Deadly Delivery.
Yeah. So I will say, guys, that I found a way to DM Koshi Nakanishi, who's the director of Resident Evil 9. Right? I've been like, man, again, there's so much noise on social media that like it's hard to. And all these teams like Capcom have big social media teams, right? And so it's like, okay, so these are the people dealing with us, the customers, the user base, right? In those social media people are the ones seeing our responses. Doesn't that sounds frustrating to me, right? How do you convince those social media people who've been hired to deal with, quote unquote, deal with us, to actually relay our message to the people that can affect change? And so I said, well, in my book, the best way to do that is to skip over the social media people and get in contact with these people directly. And so I found a way to DM Koshi Nakanishi, and I told him everything we needed to tell him. I told him everything. I told him that Village and Resident Evil 4 Remake are the best VR games on our platform. I told him that Resident Evil 7 was the best Resident Evil game in the last 20 years, and that we're so happy he's back at the helm of Resident Evil 9. And I told him like how important it was to the community that we get a PSVR2 version of Requiem. I told him like it would be detrimental, right? I don't think it would like it would just crush everyone's spirit a little bit, right? But I did say it would be detrimental on so many different levels, and if that Sony's not willing to pay, that we are. I tried to say everything that you guys might want to hear him say.
Well, good on you. Again, you're going after like the biggest, hardest task probably, but I agree with you, like you said on Friday, that right now is the best time to do so if you're going to. So I think when it comes to these ops, I think the bigger chances for success are going to be the smaller developers that we can kind of overwhelm or just show like tons of support for. Yep. And yeah, like I said, and a couple of them we can get really lucky. I think, I know I've had my eyes set on Deadly Delivery. I know some people have, I know there's a bunch of other games out there that could be potential, that have a lot of potential. And yeah, but this is, you're right. Like right now is the best time to go after this one, with the release coming out next month, and just make as much noise as you can for, as long as you can. And then hopefully it happens. And if not, we just move on to the next one and find the next thing. Maybe go after something a little smaller. Or something else that just makes sense and see what we can do.
Yeah, and listen, I know the smaller things are better bets for sure, and I will tell you guys that I'm like, before we gather the Game Cats together and really start orchestrating some of this stuff, I do want you to know that I've already laid the groundwork for Ill. Somebody brought that up on a recent show, and I've already gotten in touch with one of the developers there, and then Vader actually sent me a trailer for this great new Astrobot looking flat screen 3D platformer called Duskfall, and I reached out to them and said, hey, like, listen, we have a serious need for games like this on PSVR2. We're not asking you to change the perspective or put it in the first person or add motion controls, but like no, it's not Duskfall, it's Dusk Fade. What the hell is this called? I don't know. It'll fucking pop up on the screen. But I let them know, I was like, I don't think it would be a difficult thing for you to add PSVR2 support, and you'd get a lot of support from our community, because this is a game that we really, really would like to play. And then of course Reanimal, that we've been talking about a little bit for the exact same reasons as Dusk Fade here. What the fuck is it called? Vader, are you in the chat? I can't wait for this trailer to end to find out what the hell the game's called. I don't remember. The point is, I didn't expect a response from Koshi Nakanishi. In fact, I was scared of a response, AJ. I was like, if he responds, he's probably going to say, "Hey man, thanks for the kind words, but it's not happening." Like that's what I was scared of getting a response, because I was scared that might be what he says. And instead, I got a heart emoji reaction. And here, all I care about, AJ, is that he read it. That he knows, that he heard somebody's voice going to bat for PSVR2. Dusk Fade. There it is. Thank you. I had to wait for the trailer to end. So getting, the point is finding ways to get our message heard. And I feel like we are starting off small, even though it's a big task for our first game. Resident Evil is the biggest task, and I think everything else will be easy by comparison. But if we can make Resident Evil 9 happen, we can make anything happen. That's my feeling. Yeah.
Yeah, I think Resident Evil 9 and Ace Combat are two of the toughest tasks you could probably go for. But at least with Aces, as great as that would be, we have Aces of Thunder, we have Flight Simulator, so we have something kind of there. We got to keep this Resident Evil train going, though.
Yeah. Do you really think Ace Combat would be a hard one? Because I know it's a bigger company, but I think unlike Resident Evil, where it's like all these first-person interactions, right? All these things you have to reprogram, and like you're developing a new game on top of the game you've already made, right? In order to manage the inventory and these new ways to interact with the world, firing guns and all this shit, right? It's at least with Ace Combat, you don't. No one's asking for two hands in Ace Combat. right? People likely will want to just play with the DualSense controller or with a flight stick, right? So the exact same control scheme. This is as like we were saying on Wednesday's show, where Wes and I were talking about the games where literally it's just flipping a switch and making it VR enabled. You know what I mean? I think Ace Combat is one of those games. Would require some optimization, whatever, DFR and everything to keep the frame rate up to where it needs to be. But I think this is a much smaller ask than Requiem.
Yeah, it's not as simple as it sounds. The reason things like this are even tougher now, like a couple, 5 years ago, 6 years ago, maybe this would be maybe a little bit easier to pull off. But you look at the gaming landscape, you look at gaming as a whole and the industry, how it's been, taking a huge step back because of just like oversaturated market and economic things and all sorts of factors, like, all the layoffs and everything. So a lot of developers out there are struggling right now. There's not really this like, we're not in this, we're kind of in a reset phase right now. We're not in this like golden age of just like, the industry growing. The industry's going in the opposite direction right now. It's shrinking right now. Everything, a bunch of stuff has gotten really big and there's a lot more competition. It's a lot more difficult. So I think it has to do with just the way the industry is right now, more than anything else. And then also, not having some of the people like Shuhei Yoshida to have the influence anymore. And so there's a couple different factors. Like we're still in a good place. We're still getting things. There's still like competition out there with like the Steam headset coming out, and developers are still trying, but they're like, they're giving it everything they have right now. So it's I wish it was as easy as just flipping a switch, but it's a little bit more complicated than that, and it's even more complicated to recuperate that development cost that goes into it right now. So a little bit of patience, and we'll see. Maybe eventually, hopefully, things will start to kind of just the industry will start booming a little bit more instead of regressing.
Yeah, I mean, I do also think that it sucks to not have Shuhei at Sony anymore. I think he was such a force when it came to PlayStation VR. Right? He was a real believer in VR. But I think the good thing is that now that Jim Ryan is out, he's been replaced with Hideaki Nishino, and Hideaki Nishino is one of the main people responsible for PlayStation VR existing to begin with. And so, I think it's going to take time. It's going to take time. I've said this before. I think the ship is going to right itself, and I think that Sony will. They've never been like insanely over the top about VR, right? But the difference in their support in the PSVR1 generation versus the PSVR2 generation has been pretty significant, right? We don't see games like Blood and Truth and Everybody's Golf VR and right, all these titles that we really loved. But I do think that once the ship is righted in terms of like, hey, these 20 studios that we own that are all making flat screen PS5 games, once those people are all on the right track again, because they've been off track for so long, we barely get any first party games anymore, right? We should be getting 2 a year minimum, maybe 3 a year minimum, right? For all these different studios, 20 studios making games, making first party games. Where are the fucking games, right? There's been an insane amount of mismanagement, an insane amount of problems in the PlayStation 5 generation that need to be fixed. And I think once that ship is righted, we will also then see the VR ship righted as well.
It goes beyond, it goes beyond just PlayStation 2. It's like I said, it's the whole industry pretty much. The culture has changed. The success rate has changed. We used to have like these events where everyone would come to get together and celebrate video games, and we had like E3, and there was like a lot more like healthy competition. Now all we basically have is the Game Awards show, which is basically just Jeff Keighley promoting stuff that already has a bunch of money. Microsoft bought everybody. Meta's buying everybody and selling everything at a loss, and really has no business being in the games industry. And then you got Valve, who's like just doing whatever the hell they want. So it's a mess, but it will correct over time. And Hopefully we'll just get back to having that like culture. Everything turned into like console wars, and that really destroyed a bunch of shit too. A lot of damage has been done. You could say the Jim Ryan era is over, but the effect the Jim Ryan effect hit at a really critical time, when there was there was a lot that could have happened during that time that didn't, because of him and because of a lot of the things going on. So, yeah. Grandpa Barbecue the Game Cat with the 5 donation. Thank you so much. So yeah, imagine if AJ's mate Jimbo had put all that live service money into VR. Yeah, I mean that's basically what Shuhei did. And the thing is, I mean, they wanted more. Like, they were building this reputation. You had Shuhei, Sean Layden. They talked about how games were getting more expensive and how development cost was going up, how this model was not sustainable. And they were right. And what happened? They somehow got overthrown by Jim Ryan's live service thing. And, we've talked about this a million times before, but yeah, it didn't go the way that it should have, but it will get back to things should get back soon. All it takes is just developers making awesome games and stuff gets rolling again. But yeah, Sony beyond VR, their first party output has been not great. Microsoft has been a disaster. Like I said, Meta selling everything at a loss. Valve they developed one VR game in the past however many years, whenever that came out, whenever Half-Life Alyx came out.
Yeah, 2016. No one has ever said Valve gave up on VR. one VR game.
Yeah. Yeah, so but yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
And also we realized that, VR as a whole is not as it didn't take over and go into everybody's living room overnight, like how a lot of successful things in the games industry have done in the past, where everybody had a PlayStation. When PlayStation came out, like when a PlayStation 2 came out, literally everybody had one, because it was also a DVD player. And then when PlayStation 4 came out, it's like everybody had it because it played Netflix as well. Like even if you didn't play games, it was like a Netflix player. We're just not seeing that. Like the PlayStation 5 and a lot of these things are like they have like one focus, and that's gaming. And with VR gaming especially, the reality is it's a much smaller audience, but it is really special. And I do think over time, like more and more people will just see like this does have like a future. It just needs to be big enough it doesn't need to be in every house. It just needs to be big enough to make some of this stuff sustainable.
Yeah. And looking at Nintendo's history, I think it's easy to put these pieces together. Like why aren't more developers making games for PSVR2? Well, it's because PSVR2 headsets have not sold amazingly well, right? If we were at this point where we'd sold 20 million headsets, 3 years in, I think we'd be seeing a much different story. If you look back at Nintendo's history, right? Nintendo was pretty much dead with the Wii U, right? They could barely sell anything. They were putting out some first party stuff, but like no third parties wanted to touch it. It was just like, why are we going to waste our money over here, right? And then the Switch came along, sold fucking gangbusters, and every game you've ever heard of is now on Switch. I mean, getting ports of like the most ridiculous games ever, right? You can find, I've been obsessed with Switch because it's nonstop shit happening over there, right? It's just, so the headset needs to sell better, right? For more companies to support it. And I just think that we are, still in that, that awkward teenage phase of VR gaming, right? Whereas like it still hasn't quite found its footing yet. And I think
it's come a long way though. It's come a long, long way from where it started, but yeah, it just still has a long way to go.
Yeah. Stonebrick Studios, what's up? Cube developers. Actually, people said much more often that Valve had given up on VR than Sony's given up on VR. I think PCVR has supposedly been dead for way longer than PSVR has been supposedly dead. Interesting.
That's a good point,
to hear.
but I still think it's a good point. But it's also very debatable. Because they said PC. I don't think people said Valve, gave up or anything. It's more like I agree with the PCVR is dead part. People have been saying that for a long time. But nobody ever directly said like Valve gave up or anything. They just, and clearly they haven't. I mean, they've got their own console style stuff going. They're actually branching out. And you and Wes brought up a really good point on Wednesday about maybe potentially part of the reason this happening is the cost of hardware. The stuff like components are getting really, really expensive right now. Like PC gaming was on the up and up. And then now, because of like AI graphics cards, things like that, all sorts of things, components in general are just getting way more expensive because, and harder to get. And so now they're kind of branching into the console market, which I think is really good. I think the games industry really, really needed it. Something like that. Like, again, not to keep harping on it, but with Microsoft and what they've done and and then, Meta's strategy that didn't work. We need some healthy competition.
Agreed. Jay the Foveated Render and GameCat said, joined Blue Sky and commented. Hell yeah. I think I just got a notification that you commented.
Nice.
Excellent.
I was like, do I have Blue Sky? And I was like, I have Threads, whatever that is. It's like the Instagram thing. Somebody was
more
like,
meta stuff.
Yeah, somebody was like, I have Mastodon. I'm like, oh gosh, which one's which? No. I don't even know anymore.
Yeah.
But good job fighting the good fight.
Count Otto said, can you please repeat everything you said in the last 10 minutes? I was distracted signing up to yet another social media platform to message Capcom with. That's great. All right, guys, we don't need to make this a super long show, but we can make it a great show that ends with a 4-minute challenge, which I bet AJ's picked a game.
I did. And you know what I really did this weekend? I sat there all weekend thinking about how I was going to make you pay for choosing that bullshit Friday.
Yeah.
Yeah. I couldn't believe you pulled Neptune Flux on me again. And you almost got away with it too. You almost got away with it.
If it wasn't for those nosy kids and their little dog too.
Those meddling kids.
Yeah.
Meddling
and
kids.
Not their little dog. That's
and that mutt.
That's Wizard of Oz.
Something. Oh yeah.
Wait, what's the actual line from Scooby-Doo? We would have gotten
away with it. I would have gotten away with it too if not for those meddling kids and that. Is it Mangy Mutt? What is it?
I don't know. All I can think of is that little dog too, which is not right.
Bruh.
That's shockingly good. You guys know how this works. AJ's picked a PSVR1 or PSVR2 game, and it's up to us to figure out what game it is. We only have 4 minutes, but an infinite number of yes or no questions to figure it out. So please suggest good questions that I should ask in the chat, and then based on the answers we get, Sirens on my end, suggest good games that it might be. Yeah, I think it's Neptune Flux again. All right. Let's go. I'm going to put the clock up on the counter the way that Jeremy likes it. Oh my God, there's more sirens. All right, this have to be background noise for the 4-minute challenge. This will be the soundtrack of the 4-minute challenge. Worcester Sirens. On my mark. Get Des. Go. Does it have underwater exploration?
No.
Are you in a vehicle?
No.
Is it PSVR 1?
No.
Okay. Is it on other platforms other than PSVR 2?
Ooh. Hold please. Ask me something else.
Multiplayer.
No.
Okay, no multiplayer.
It is on other platforms.
Okay, is it scary at all?
No.
I only know scary games. Is it do you shoot guns?
Yes.
Do you shoot other things other than guns? Hold please.
I'd say you shoot at least. I think that's it. Maybe.
Wait, what? Repeat that.
Definitely. Yeah, you shoot in the game.
Okay.
You shoot.
Moving on. You're not in any vehicles? You said though, right? No vehicles. So not Galaxy Kart. You guys not racing. Was this published by Perp Games?
No.
Okay. That eliminates quite a few things. Let's see. Is it based on any IP?
No.
Okay. Boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. Is it sci-fi? That's Markio.
No.
Is it fantastical?
No.
Is it set in contemporary world? Like contemporary times?
Like a
Oh my God.
Sure.
Wow, you're aging the fuck out of this. Is it first person?
Yes.
Is it a top 25 contender?
No.
Oh, is it bad?
No.
Okay, so it's mid then, right? Because it didn't make the cut.
I mean, there's a lot of good games that didn't make the cut.
All right, there's no multiplayer, so it can't be Green Hell. Is it a puzzle game? SNL Zero?
No.
Okay.
I hate puzzle games. You know this.
Yeah. Is it?
Okay, I don't hate them, but I kind of do sometimes.
Is it narrative driven? Is there a lot of story?
No.
Okay. Is it all action? Would you consider just lots of
yes.
shooting? Okay.
Yes.
All right.
Well, it is all action.
Okay. Is it cartoony?
A little bit, not really. No, though.
Okay. Is it a roguelite?
Good question. Hi, Corey. No.
Not a roguelite. Was it a launch game?
No.
Was it free to play?
No.
Do you play as a cactus?
No.
Would you consider this a first-person shooter? Is that like the genre it falls into?
That's not what I mean. No, that's not like what I would call first. No.
Okay. Are there zombies?
But it does have shooting. No.
You said it's all first person? There's no third person elements?
That is correct.
Okay, no zombies. You said no zombies. Man, I'm at a loss, you guys. I also have been keeping track of all the answers, so like I think that they went in one ear, not the other. It's not based on an IP, Toxie, so it can't be Ghostbusters. Is there platforming?
No. Like maybe the slightest degree.
All right. Do you is it full locomotion?
No.
Is it Tiger Blade?
Released on December 20th, 2023. It is the arcade shooter that you also have a sword and listen to K-Rap, you lucky bastard. Thanks to Scott, the PSVR game cap for life. It is, in fact, Tiger Blade. Good job, man.
Woo!
You guys are awesome. Wow. That is
Neptune Flux is better.
That is 2 in a row where the chat has bailed us out last second. Yeah, this game is really cool. I actually like Tiger Blade a lot. I would classify it as an arcade shooter. I was really worried you were going to ask if it's a rhythm game because it's not, but it is like so driven by the soundtrack, the K-Rap soundtrack. It's just got a great style to it, and it's an awesome mix between, we've seen so many games try to mix ninjas and shooting and arcade stuff, and none of them have really done it as well as Tiger Blade, I don't think.
Yeah. I would call this pretty cartoony.
Yeah. I said it was pretty cartoony.
Yeah, it's fine.
I couldn't remember off the top of my head. It's not.
Yeah,
I can see that though.
Yep. All right, you guys, we're gonna wrap this thing up. Thank you everybody for being here, guys. Gamecat Op's in full effect over on Discord. Let's make we don't want to let up, right? We don't want there just to be a wave of PSVR2 comments on these Resident Evil trailers. We want there to be a nonstop flow of them. We want them to be hearing this kind of nonstop, right? And so some people have been posting like all of the trailers from PlayStation, from Capcom, from the Resident Evil channel, from all the different regions and all that stuff. So if you feel motivated, I can copy and paste a comment and leave it everywhere, right? And we're constantly finding new avenues, new ways to get our voices heard. That's why the Blue Sky thing I think was a pretty big breakthrough today. I think that's going to be a good thing. And if you guys have any, like I was really, really happy to get in touch with the director of RE9 and at least I don't need a response. I'm just happy you heard. If you guys have any other avenues to get in touch with like other people on the team, please let me know, right? We don't want to be bombarding like email accounts and stuff like that. But if you want me to kind of speak for the group, please don't ever hesitate to send me contact information of people you think that can make a difference. We're just getting started with all of this. And I think I think we're going to have a really great year. It's gonna be good stuff. Hold on, before we take off, we want to make sure we don't miss anybody's tips here. Gamecat sent 5 more without parole gift memberships. Thank you so very much. Almost forgot to swipe. Scally said, I always want to say Scallywag. Scally Says Gaming sent 5 without parole gift memberships. Thank you for your generosity. Gamecat with the Australian $5 tip says Kyle. Oh my God. Yes, dude. Thank you for saying this. I completely forgot. Kyle, without parole member, made a Capcom Get RE9 on PSVR2 change.org petition. Go sign it. It's in the self promo channel on Discord. No, it's not. It's in the Resident Evil 9 Gamecat Ops channel on Discord. It's where it needs to be. Guys, fucking. Let me just deliver the link right here because it is. I know I said in my video, change.org petitions don't work, right? We've tried it for so many different things and it hasn't happened. But again, this being one of the thing here, copy link. Let me throw this right into just being one of the many ways that we can make our voices heard, right? Maybe a change.org petition isn't going to work all on its own. Right? Maybe if this the only they see 700 people sign some petition, it's like, okay, whatever. Right? But combining this with the nonstop flood of comments and everything else, right? It's just one more thing one more way for them to hear us. And so in this particular case, I think it's an excellent idea and it doesn't hurt. What are you going to do? Waste 2 minutes of your time in order to try to make a change? So, I like this one. When I first saw it, I was like, we just said that this shit didn't work. But then I was like, you know what? Fuck it. Let's get behind it. I also posted about it on Without Parole in the posts tab. So if you missed the link here, if you're an audio listener, if you're listening to this, just go to the channel. You'll see it. I've posted the link in that tab. We also have Comic Book Guy. If I can scroll back, here it is. Comic Book Guy with the 10 euros. What's up, Comic Book Guy? Says, probably another stupid idea for a VR game. Never a stupid idea. But remember the Grey Hill incident from a few years ago? Imagine a classic alien invasion story reimagined for VR. And I mean like in that story, the game I named. And I mean like in that story, the game I named. I feel like he's trying to trip me up now, AJ. He knows that I always stumble when I read his tips, and so now I feel like he literally sticks his foot out in the middle of each one and tries to trip me up. Dude, I remember
him, comic book guy.
Dude, I think I probably have a trailer for the Grey Hill incident. Yeah, here it is. This was published by Perp, and we were like, holy shit, this looks like it's a VR game. This looks like it should be a VR game, right? I mean, like it just fucking looks like it. Dude, I tried to play this on the flat screen and it was rough, right? But I would absolutely play it in VR. I had no desire to keep playing it on the flat screen, but I would. This is how VR makes everything better, right? Shit like this, where it's just like, I wouldn't even play this. Wouldn't even play this on the flat screen, but in VR, oh man, completely different. So, yeah, dude, I 100% agree. There's a ton of games like this that I know you're saying maybe not this game specifically, but games of this sort we could be making pushes for. I think that being in VR and seeing an alien ship come down, there's a game I want to reference right now, but like I feel like if I said it, I would be spoiling the game. Do you know what game I'm thinking about, AJ? Where at one point you're like, what the fuck? It's a UFO, right? Like it's so impactful in VR in a way that it just wouldn't really be on the flat screen.
I was looking at the Grey Hill incident thing where I was like, this looks so familiar.
Yeah.
And I wonder if it's what you're talking about.
Yep, it's because Perp published it. And basically I think if it had sold better on the flat screen, they would have said, okay, there's something here and we can spend a little bit more money to get it to a wider audience. Not a wider audience, I guess a smaller audience with us PSVR gamers. And it just didn't happen. And I can kind of understand after having played it. I was like, oh man, great idea, but the execution maybe not so great.
Okay.
But great shout, comic book guy. Love it. Hold on a second. We're going to get back to the screen so people can see the chat. Gamecat with an Australian $2 tip says you can make a 30-second video on the petition. You can. I thought that was really strange. And I don't know if, making like a more personal plea like that, right? Like if I record a 30-second video, I was like, guys, this is so important, blah, 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 blah. I'm not going to watch anybody else's video on there, right? It's like sign the petition, get the count higher, right? That I think that's the point. But again, if you, I'm trying to do things that like people can do without even thinking about it. Take 2 seconds out of your life and like, copy and paste the same comment I left 7 other places. Now put it over here on this petition. Great. But if you do feel up to it and you want to make a 30-second video and post it on the petition, by all means, go do it.
You got to be careful with those petitions and how much you share it though, because or who you share it with, because if you don't want to prove their point as to why they're not bringing it to VR. If there's like 400 people sign this petition, it's like, you don't really want to show them that. Yeah. You'd want to show 100,000 people or 500,000 people, at the same time, right? Yeah, like if you can't even if you could hardly even break 1,000, petition is not the best way. It's better to do these other ways you're going about it.
Yeah, I think like if they post a video and post a YouTube video with a new trailer or something, and it has 10,000 comments, and 2,000 of those comments are us. It's talking about a PSVR2 port. That ratio is amazing, right? That's such an amazing ratio, and the petition can make the movement look a little weaker than it actually is. So I agree. We got to be careful. We got to be calculated about all this. Comic book guy with another £5 says, random question, but have you watched the trailer for the upcoming? Is it a remake of The Mummy? But it's an upcoming movie called The Mummy. I haven't. I saw that either you or somebody else posted it in the general chat on Discord today, and I want to check it out and see what that's all about. But I'll watch it before Wednesday's show and get back to you. Just remind me on Wednesday's show. I'll make Wes watch it too. I'm assuming you don't know what movie he's talking about, AJ?
Nope.
Okay.
No, but I like The Mummy in general. It's just the last time I saw that Mummy movie with Tom Cruise, it was the biggest piece of shit I've ever seen, and I don't really care anymore.
I don't even know what that is.
I'd rather just watch the Brendan Fraser Mummy again. That was a fun movie. I wonder how it's aged.
I mean, I watched it for the first time within the last 2 years.
What'd you think?
It was all right.
You're not a comedy person though, and it had an action adventure comedy kind of shtick, and it had some creepy moments. That movie was so awesome when it came out, though. Yeah. So good.
I know. I trust that it's one of those movies that if you saw when it was brand new, you'd be like all about it. And somehow I missed it. I don't know what happened.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It wasn't horror, maybe.
Maybe.
Although it did have a little bit.
I don't know what's happening to me recently. I keep talking about it, and I think it's more true by the day. Like, I'm not falling out of love with horror, but I think without any great examples of horror happening, like Welcome to Derry was about the closest we had recently, and I thought that was pretty good. But I was disappointed by the ending, and it kind of left a bad taste in my mouth a little bit. But when big franchises like The Conjuring, which was like a staple, right? Conjuring 1 and 2 could do no wrong. Like, those movies were great. And then the Devil Made Me Do It and Conjuring 4 Last Rites came out. It's just like, these aren't that good, right? And then Insidious had like 5 great entries. 5, maybe 4, 5. I can't remember. And then the last one, The Last Key or The Red Door, whatever the fuck it was, whatever the last one was terrible, right? And so when even the things that I can fall back on and say, man, I at least know that these are going to really live up to everything I want them to be. When even those fall through the cracks and screw up and stumble, and the people making the movies don't care enough to like honor, the greatness that the originals put forth, I think that's what caused me to kind of fall out of love with horror a little bit recently. And I've started to explore other things, Sirens on my end, that are really grabbing my attention. And dude, there was this documentary I watched about. It was about the Providence Place Mall. You know, Providence is just as close to me as Boston is, right? So very close by. when they were building the Providence Place Mall, like these 5 people just decided they were going to sneak in and build an apartment inside the mall that they could sneak in and out of. And it like documents the entire thing. It's such a great documentary, right? And so I keep finding all these different things that I'm more interested in right now, including I was just talking about the Chair Company, which is Tim. Why did I forget his name? Anyway, it doesn't matter. Great TV series. The Chair Company is one of the better shows I've watched in a long time. Come on, somebody in the chat. Tim, what's wrong with me? Go ahead.
I remember you talking about this on Wednesday show. I can't remember his name though. Yeah, man. No, I've been on this boat for a while. Like I used to love horror movies. I used to watch every single one, good or bad. And now I feel like my time is getting more and more limited to where I just want to like, and this goes for gaming too. Like I just want to watch and play and be entertained by the stuff that there is. And don't have as much time to just like, kind of sift through it all and find the really good stuff. Although it can be very rewarding. Tim Robinson.
Thank you. Yes, that's correct. Thank you.
Thank you, Wizard. But yeah, that's actually kind of like why I've been getting into like anime, because like I'm actually finding some of the most compelling storytelling and creativity from anime right now. And that's something I've never really watched like a ton of growing up. And now I've been like really hooked to it. I've been watching Full Metal Alchemist and Gundam and a bunch of other things. And it's like, yeah, I'm actually finding some like really good stuff in here. And yeah, it sucks because I used to love horror movies, and it's just becoming harder and harder to find good ones. But there's a lot of stuff out there. It's just hard to find.
Yeah. Headbite. I agree with Headbite in the chat. Bring Her Back and Weapons were both good. I think Talk to Me was one that I really loved in recent memory.
Talk to Me was fun.
Yeah.
Oh, I need to see Bring Her Back.
It's good.
That's by the same person that did, same people that did Talk to Me, right?
Yes. Yep.
Okay. That one is on my to watch list. There's a couple others, I think, as well.
I watched the Christopher Reeves documentary. Is he the guy who played Superman? The documentary is called Super/Man.
Yeah.
It was really good. Like I didn't think I was going to care at all like about his story or anything like that. Not to be insensitive or anything. It was before my time, just like stuff I didn't care about. It was like when comic book movies were still kind of a joke, and I ended up watching that last night, and it was like, oh, it was really, really moving. It's really well done. So I think it's good to evolve and change and not be the same person you were 30 years ago or 10 years ago or 5 years ago, right? Constantly exploring new avenues and like, giving other genres of music and television and movies and games a chance that you might not have otherwise. And you end up finding a lot of stuff that you wouldn't know, that you wouldn't have found otherwise because you're so gung-ho focused on this is what I am and this is what I like, right? It's okay to, move outside your box every so often and find other shit that you like. For sure.
Well, Madison is the best horror movie I've experienced in in the last 20 years. No, 10 years, because Resident Evil 7.
Crumb Colossus, I've watched The Boys. I've watched the first 3 seasons. I will probably get back to it. I have a hard time when things take a long time for another season to come out. Like Stranger Things season 5, part 2 or whatever is going. I think it's been 10 years since I've watched season 1. It's like, what? Like, what?
Yeah. Yeah. I have had not really much interest in watching that. I wanted to finish it because I've watched everything up until season 5. And then I'm just like, I just can't bring myself to watch it. I just don't care. Alien Earth hurt my soul.
I didn't even finish. I just heard too many bad things and just couldn't be bothered.
Couldn't finish it.
Yeah.
Couldn't finish it. Predator. Well, no, it wasn't like a horror though. But Predator Badlands was it was fun watch. Like it was entertaining enough, I would say. It wasn't like the greatest movie ever. Yeah. But it was passable. But yeah. This is why I'm just watching anime now, because it's all I can find that's good right now.
So hopefully that answers your question, comic book guy, if we've seen the trailer for the upcoming Mummy movie. We've also got Grandpa's Barbecue Gamecat with the Australian $10 tip. Says, if successful and these companies do add a VR mode, based on everyone requesting. Very important to follow up by buying the game. Otherwise, they start to ignore such requests. I mean, yes, absolutely, right? It is. I want if we are successful with the Resident Evil 9 campaign, like I want to see those numbers on Resident Evil 9 be so much higher than even Village and RE4 remake were, right? I don't know if that's possible. I don't know if that's possible, right? Because if they do charge for it, right, that's obviously going to keep as many people from playing the VR mode as they would have otherwise. But I agree. We need to show our support by doing what we're doing, but then also when the game comes out, by purchasing the game and telling them, hey, thank you so much for giving us a PSVR2 mode. I wouldn't have played this any other way. Right, letting them know how important it was that they did that, thanking them for what they've done. I agree. And on that note,
rightio, Brian.
On that note, it's time to say goodbye. Thank you everybody for hanging out, and thank you everybody who supports the channel financially, whether it's over on patreon.com/withoutparole or by being a member over here, or by tipping during the show, or by sending gift memberships. We thank you all so very much. We appreciate your financial support, but even if you don't support us financially, we're just happy that you're here. Come join us over on Discord. That's where we hang out 24/7. That's where these conversations happen all the time. That's where Gamecat Ops is happening. That's where you can leave viewer takeover questions, right? Just be part of the community. But maybe you're one of those people that sits back and doesn't say a goddamn word. We know you're out there, and it's time for you to speak the fuck up. It's more important now than ever that you use your voice. And you help 2026 become the best year yet for VR.
Kill a motherfucking cat, Brian, because I want to see you guys on Wednesday to Comic Book Guy 5. Thank you so much for all the donations and the awesome questions that derail us for 10 minutes when we're trying to close the show. Not for Ace Gamer, Ace Gamer. And the chat says, forget Firewall, go buy Zero Caliber. It's tight. It's Ali. Oops, I allied again. Chrome to the Dome Colossus. No way I wouldn't buy RE9. Also, no way I'd finish it. Alberto, Mapom, Code Bender. The game gato. Guy got cojones. Says cat. Thank you, Bitmappy. Thank you, man. Have a great night. Chinatown to you. The house tonight. What is up? Tapping the game. Duck. Techno glitch. The system is down. The system is down. The system is down. Corey 2016. Thank you so much, man. And also, hi 26 best for PSVR2. Let's go. Mad_vegan. The 00 agent Gamecat says excited for the Vegas Pinball Museum. Oh yes, that does sound great. Since we can't get good pinball games in PSVR2. Damn. Yeah, don't bring it up. Nat Attack Gaming, bye. Thank you so much for dropping by. Headbite plays. What?
Wes in the chat says, I went to 2 stores and came home since you started 20 questions.
Hell yeah. What up, virtual strangers in the house tonight? Wes, by the way, man, thank you so much for the very, very kind words. Wishing me to get better and everything. I'm back, baby. Let's do this shit. You better get ready. But yeah, no, really, you're fucking awesome, man. Thank you so much. It meant a lot to me here. That is, it was a really tough month for me. So thank you. Kai-san, fist bump to you. Grandpa Barbecue, the Game Cat Night, all Colin Love says, let's go, Game Op Cats. Yes. I agree. Steve _IRE. Thank you so much, man. Scott, the PSVR Game Cat for Life. Great job with the 20 question save at the buzzer. For the win. Detroit Lion Game Cat says 0 caliber. Thumbs up. Izzard says backup beanie. Snafu Strong Bad. Is that you?
Consummate bees.
Another great episode of the Great Bidet Show. Thank you. I can't believe I talked about it. Ace Diaz in the house tonight. Thanks so much. Says I want with the Oblivion Afterlife for PSVR2. Count Otto says goodbye is the hardest word, apparently. Red Rover, the effing Game Cat says
you cut out for all of that. That was great. We didn't hear any of the word darkness.
Dargans, Stike Gamer, Stike, the VFR Gamecat. What is up, homie? Says Legendary Tales. Gamecato says AJ is one clean asshole. You should all be a clean asshole like me.
I forgot
Why
that
my
I
eyes so
what
dry. My eyes are so dry and red for some reason.
I forgot that I was actually participating in the show and not just watching it. And I started picking my nose and I was like, oh shit, AJ can see me.
Oh yeah.
Right, we got to end this.
I think we should. It's getting worse in the chat. I love you guys.
We love you all.